Hello, my name is Darren Vanness, Digital Services Manager with Granular and Corteva Agriscience. In past videos in this series, my colleagues and I have talked to you about decision zones, as planted data, variable rate seeding, and our nitrogen model. Today, I'd like to spend more time talking about the challenges that every farmer faces with nitrogen management. And I would like to first point those out as some research that I have ran across probably 6 or 7 years ago regarding nitrogen uptake post-tassel. And this research said that 37% of the total nitrogen needed by the crop was taken by the plant after tassel time. And this was a much larger number than I had thought, as we were experiencing a change in our hybrids, that today's hybrids take up more nitrogen post-tassel than hybrids 20 years ago. So if I have a yield target of 250 bushel, I must have 109 pounds of nitrogen in the soil where my plants can get to it at tassel time to give me the best chance of success. So how does a grower accomplish that and ensure that he has enough at tassel time to give him the best chance of success? I'd like to further highlight this challenge using the past 20 years of weather history. And we're going to look at a nitrogen plan that uses 50% of the nitrogen applied as spring anhydrous and 50% of the nitrogen applied as urea side dress. And we're going to look at this on a well-known Western Corn Belt, highly productive soil by the name of whole ridge silt loam. So if you look at this graph, you'll see these lines. We call this a spaghetti chart. Each line represents one of the past 20 years of weather, and it is measuring nitrogen in the soil as you go through the growing season. And I'd like to call out the different colors. The orange or red lines are from your more dry years, dry seasons, where you retain more nitrogen in the soil, and your green lines or blue lines are more of your wetter years, where you lose more nitrogen to denitrification and leaching or volatilization. But what I'd like to point out is the dots on each line in the middle of the graph. And what we're representing there is a range from your wettest years to your driest years of nitrogen in the soil at VT or at tassel time. And that's a range of 60 pounds of nitrogen from your driest year to your wettest year. So how does a grower put his hands around that kind of a challenge? How do you deal with that? You could over-apply to ensure that you're never losing yield by having too little nitrogen. But there's plenty of years where you don't need to over-apply, or you don't need an extra 20 pounds. And there's going to be years where you can apply an extra 20 pounds and you still won't have near enough nitrogen to accomplish your yield target. So how do you deal with that? What if you had a system that could help you understand how nitrogen was responding to the various weather that you're receiving in your soils using your yield targets? And you could be updated on those effects of weather every day to help you adapt to the changing weather year that you're in. I'd like to introduce granular nitrogen as such a system that will use your soil, your yield targets, your nitrogen plan to update you every 24 hours with how much nitrogen you have in the soil, and is that enough to accomplish your yield target? If you have more questions or would like to learn more about Granular's nitrogen service, please contact your Granular Services agency or your local Pioneer sales rep. Thank you very much for your time today, and let's stay healthy. Thank you.